Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz joining me now. And Congressman, you and I have been talking about this leading up to this point, and so now it's with the president. I saw you on C-SPAN. You were on the floor yesterday with a message for this president. What is it?
Well, I think nothing would be better, Harris, than if the President of the United States tonight walked down the hallway that is right behind me, stood on the floor of the House of Representatives, and handed to our Speaker, Paul Ryan, his consent to release the memo. The Intelligence Committee has done their job, the Congress has done its job, and now this matter lies with the President of the United States. He's indicated he will accept the will of the vote of the Intelligence Committee. That is clearly to release the memo. The President has that power, and I just think it would be classic Trump to do it during the State of the Union tonight to kick things off.
And the Democrats, for their part, say they have their own memo, Congressman Gaetz. Have you seen it? Do you know what's in it?
I'm on my way to go read their memo, and so long as the Democrat memo doesn't reveal sources and methods, so long as it doesn't contain inaccuracies, so long as it meets the standards that the Republican staff memo has met, then I would suggest that we release both of them and have this discussion. Here's the bottom line, Harris. No one's going to be able to dispute the facts that are laid out in the memo prepared by the intelligence staff. These are not opinions or conclusions. These are facts that are well sourced. No one's going to be able to dispute their veracity, and then we get to have a good debate in this country about whether or not we want political parties weaponizing our own intelligence community against us.
And when you say weaponize, can you at least give us one fresh example that you think this, and I know you can't tell us the contents of the memo, but you think that people will better understand?
We should never live in a world where a political party can generate an opposition research document for a raucous campaign, and then that memo becomes an intelligence document and takes on new life and undergoes a very bizarre path forward. And I think that that's a broad statement I would make about the nature of political parties and their intersection with our intelligence community. As for the memo specifically, I can't speak to its contents, but I do believe that it will provoke an important debate about our surveillance policies and how we need to keep politics separate from investigations and the important work that we really need the FBI and Department of Justice to undertake.
I have to ask, because Republicans just had an interesting conversation already about surveillance by renewing 702, the section in FISA. Why didn't this come out before that particular discussion that was so important about surveillance, Americans getting scooped up potentially as we watch foreigners?
Well, it's important to recognize that 702, the reauthorization program that Congress voted for, deals with surveillance of foreign individuals, not surveillance of U.S. citizens. And so when reading the memo, it's important to understand what the Congress did reauthorize and what was excluded from that review. I think the memo raises a lot of questions about activities that occurred on U.S. soil with U.S. persons, not the 702 authority that was reauthorized.
Is this the type of thing that can bring to a close any investigations that are still looking for evidence between the Trump campaign and Russia? Is this memo the type of thing?
Sure, and there's disagreement on this question among Republicans. My view is that this memo lays out the true fact that the Mueller investigation is built on a rotten premise, that the entire foundation, that the entire basis for the Russia investigation is a fiction, that it's not real, that there are false facts that were falsely curated, falsely presented, and then unscrupulously falsely verified. And so that's my belief of where we stand now, but there are other people who are entitled to their viewpoint on that question. I think that when we get the contents of the memo into the public square, we'll really be able to have that discussion in earnest.
You have said it on this program before, and I hear the urgency in your voice. Has Special Counsel Robert Mueller seen this memo?
I don't believe he has, but I believe the memo is very instructive on the reason why we have Robert Mueller investigating the president in the first place. And so I think that if the foundation is false, if the foundation was a fiction, was made up, was improperly validated, it seriously raises questions about why we even would have Mr. Mueller proceeding in an investigation that seems to have produced zero evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia.
All right, with your message to the president today on overtime to get this thing pushed through, I'm sure that will get into the bloodstream somehow. Maybe somebody's watching.
Let's do it tonight. Absolutely.
All right. Congressman Gaetz, thank you very much.